Welcome back, everybody. This is Tucker. Let's talk weather. It's time to talk snow and multiple chances ahead for more winter weather. At the same time, severe storms are expected as well as these systems cross the country. And last but certainly not least, fire danger increasing again this week. How's it going, everyone? Hope your week's going well so far. I happen to have 3 days off here in the middle of the week, so I'm pretty excited. Might make an extra video for you guys. Also super excited because I just booked a flight to Denver to start my storm chase a little bit later in May. So we're a ways out, but can't wait. And speaking of storms, we got this guy in the middle of the country right now. You can see it spinning across, that's basically the central part of the U.S. right there. We're going to talk about what kind of weather that's about to bring to different portions of the U.S. And we're also going to take a look ahead at our next couple of systems as our pattern becomes a bit faster and a bit more active this week. I'm going to start you off with an overview, and then we're going to get into the details here. But I want to show you where we begin today on Wednesday, and you're seeing the snow across the central portion of the U.S. here, impacting states like Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan. That snow is going to fall heavily for a lot of areas. We'll talk about just how much here in a moment. I also want to mention there is a chance for some severe storms across portions of the Midwest, Mid-South, and the South. And what you're seeing is some storms on the front end of this, and largely what that's going to do is it's going to create damaging wind and hail threat, even a low tornado chance too, which we'll also take a look at here in a moment. As this begins to move to the east on Thursday, I also have to mention we have our next storm arriving on the west coast. So the Pacific Northwest has been really active the past few months, and that will continue with rain on the coastline, snow in the mountains, and that continues into Friday as well. Speaking of Friday, our system in the middle of the country spreads eastwards, brings some storms to the mid-Atlantic. You can see some snow out there in the northeast. Interestingly, Boston actually has never gone the month of March ever without snowfall. Looks like that could be done this month, but if there is some snow, or at least a chance, it's likely to be on the backside of that system as it moves out. Then we move through the weekend. Things quiet down for a little bit of time, but what I want to show you is that as we get into Sunday, you're seeing that low pressure system near Texas, Louisiana. This guy's going to be interesting because we have the potential for some severe weather out here. We'll talk about that risk as well, and even our next chance for snow, which is once again, you're going to see it here in a second, start to develop across at least the north central U.S. So a couple interesting things to watch as we move into the back half of the weekend, and we're going to start again with that snow chance, then jump into severe weather and the heightened fire risk once again. Let's start with a closer look at the timing on this snow, and I'm going to move this forward here through your Wednesday, and what you're seeing is that heavy snow beginning in the early morning across states like Nebraska and Kansas, especially places like Lincoln and Omaha, going to get into that snow in the beginning of the day. So the morning commute may be very difficult. This includes some cities, northern Iowa. We're seeing perhaps Rochester, Minnesota, Eau Claire, Wisconsin, seeing some of those impacts in the morning on Wednesday as well. Our storm continues to move into the evening, and by early Thursday, most of the snow is actually out, with some lingering snow showers in Green Bay and into the upper peninsula of Michigan as well. But this is a pretty quick mover, and it will be gone pretty fast, though I'll say the mitten of Michigan could still be seeing snow through Thursday as well. So this won't be a super long duration storm, but amounts will actually be on the reasonably higher end, in fact. And you can see this very wide area here where we're expecting about 5 to 8 inches of snow. You can see that stretching from the eastern quarter of Nebraska, we'll call it, through northern Iowa, into southern Minnesota, through central Wisconsin, and up through the upper peninsula of Michigan. That's where you're seeing those purple colors, a good 5 to 8. Anywhere you're seeing those lighter blue colors, that's your 1 to 3 range. Those darker blue colors, about 3 to 5. So it is going to be a pretty heavy snowfall in that narrow band. Makes it difficult to forecast, but certainly I do feel confident in this one. What I want to show you too is the chances for snow as we get later into the week, and what you're going to see is basically the 24-hour snow potential as we move forward. So here's our storm that moves out. A couple chances for snow you can see in the mountains of New England here as we head into your Friday. That's when we see our next chance for snow. More in the mountains on the west coast. We talked about that storm, especially Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That'll bring snow out there. And then as we get into next week, you're seeing that snow chance begin to increase again in the north central U.S. We're going to keep an eye on this, but there are potential impacts Sunday and Monday for more snow out there and into the Great Lakes region before that chance begins to lessen once again. Wanted to mention, by the way, if you're not already subscribed, be sure to do so as we continue to track this active weather throughout the entire spring. And now to that severe weather threat here on Wednesday, the first of a couple, which we'll get into ahead here in a moment. We have this level 2 risk for severe weather across portions of the Midwest. that is going to be for a low tornado threat. We also have a decent damaging wind threat, and large hail is a possibility too, mainly in the Chicagoland area. So we're going to keep a close eye on those. But I want to show you the timing here, and it all has to do with that that winter storm system. This severe weather threat is going to be on the warm side of it, and what you're seeing are storms beginning to pop up here as we get into the afternoon. You can see them across Chicagoland, and again, that's going to be the large hail and damaging wind threat. But as we head later into the evening here, now we're getting to the late afternoon at least, those storms, they begin to transition to, more of a threat across states like Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee. Could even be a threat for some strong to severe storms into the southeast, but I expect it's going to be Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, even Ohio may see some storms after dark as this system continues to move to the east. So that's the first severe weather threat that we're watching here. Our next severe weather threat is going to come at the end of the weekend. Here we are Sunday. You can see this risk already being painted on here. Our day 6 outlook for places like Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Mississippi. Now, there isn't a ton of wind energy. There's enough, but not a ton. So I'm going to show you what's driving this severe weather threat, and I'm going to bring us over to our instability here. And as we get into Friday and Saturday, not much on our map, but as we move this forward into Sunday, you're going to see those colors, that instability begin to really spike up in those areas I just mentioned. Here we are actually Saturday. Could be some storms in Texas. I wouldn't be shocked if there's a marginal risk, a level 1 risk that gets issued for severe weather out there in Texas and Oklahoma. But it's as we head into Sunday, you see that instability really begin to increase. And anywhere you're seeing those orange colors, that's high instability. Those teal colors, that's your moderate instability. And you can see that really taking over Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Mississippi, which is where that threat is. And while there isn't a ton of wind energy, most of it's going to be swinging just north of this, there will be enough, especially on the northern end of this, to at least create that severe weather threat in addition to the higher instability too. You'll see though as we head later into the week here, this is on your Monday now, the instability stays suppressed to this area. At this point, I don't expect much severe weather, if any, because there will not be much wind energy. And out here in the eastern U.S., yeah, there could be a low chance for severe weather on the Gulf Coast. But again, that instability stays pretty low. So we're watching that for next Sunday. And of course, you want to check back for updates on this potential multi-day threat. Last but not least, wanted to take you to that fire danger threat, and you're seeing this is the day we're coming out of. We had another critical fire risk across portions of New Mexico, Texas, and Oklahoma. Here we are on Wednesday, that fire risk taking over much of the south central U.S., even parts of the Appalachian Mountains. We're looking at that fire danger. And then as we head later into the week here, expected to continue as we move into Friday. And then again here on Saturday, that fire danger remaining on the higher side. In fact, we may even do this Sunday as well, for a good chunk of the south central United States. This largely, and this impact will be more than just the south central U.S., but this is largely due to what will be continued persistent strong wind. And you're looking at forecasted wind gusts now as we move into Wednesday. Anywhere you're seeing those red colors, those are gusts of 50 miles per hour or more. And you can see here just how strong they'll be across a good chunk of the country, all being generated by the active storm systems moving through. As we move into our Thursday, it's going to be windy out in the eastern U.S., and that wind picks up again back there all off the mountains, basically, in the plains region, which is why that fire risk remains high. Heading into Friday, it's going to be another windy day out there, and Saturday, same thing. Still a lot more wind coming off the high terrain in the mountainous western U.S., and we're going to stay breezy. I mean, this entire week, you can see a lot of the United States is going to be breezy, and even into the weekend, that wind is going to stay on the higher side of things, although hoping that we catch a bit of a break out here, but we'll have to wait and see just how our next storm system coming out from the north develops. But certainly fire danger, something we'll be watching, and perhaps spreading farther north depending on how much temperatures rise later on this week. If you have any questions, guys, make sure to drop them in the comments. I'm happy to answer anything. If you have any video requests, something you want to see more of, something you want to learn about, drop it in there too. But we're going to wrap up the video now. If you haven't subscribed already, be sure to do so. And I'll see you next time as we track this active weather and continue to keep you updated on the week ahead.